Okay. Okay. So let's start with a couple of announcements. I know some people that are joining more. I don't know why they're running late, but we're going to start without them. لأنه I'm keen on getting things on time. Okay. So أول شغلة ما رح أفتح فيديو لأنه I'm going to screen share. Okay. How do you guys feel about this month?
Anna, I'm excited for this month.
Okay. So let's start a little bit with an understanding of the energy of Taurus, and we're going to do something new a little bit. Is that I want you to take the look at the star alignment of Taurus. Okay. And you will find that the star alignment of Taurus looks as if there's two things that are merging into one and then dividing into two. Does that make sense? So, what does this mean to us when we see something like this? These planets or these energy alignments are telling us how the energy is moving around through Taurus, through the month of Taurus. And when we see this, we understand that Taurus energy begins with duality, with confusion. So this is not the highest level energy. Okay. So it still needs a connection to something. And then it's kind of sieved into a very strong energy that kind of combines into one. But somehow it gets distracted again and becomes two. Why is this relevant for us? Because the energy of Taurus is one of confusion. And if you notice, there is a clear decision, but there is confusion. All right. And this is what Tauruses are known for, right? That they cannot make choices. They cannot make choices. Deep down, they know what they want, but they cannot make a choice. They cannot confirm or move from one direction to the other. It's not that Tauruses are lazy as much as they simply cannot be bothered to make a decision because all decisions for them are confusing. All right. And all of them kind of combine and then they distract themselves and separate and combine and distract themselves and separate. Now, I want to share with you a story that's very important for this week's energy, for this month's energy, because this month is about healing. And before we go into the astrological forecast, I want to go into what is healing, because it relates to this image. Healing is an alignment that takes place between the creator, the soul, and the body. That's a complete alignment of healing. Does that make sense? Okay, you guys are awfully quiet. So I'm just going to carry on.
Yes, yes, it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. If there are any questions, let me know. Okay. All right. When we look at the energy of healing, or how the first healers in the world in the Old Testament came to heal, it was two very young individuals with very great souls, Navid and Nayahu, who were very great souls, but they were very young and they were very juvenile. Okay. And they went into the holy temple and they started drinking, getting drunk, and stealing the eternal flame. Eventually, the eternal flame burned them. لحظة شوي. وين قطش؟ Hi Sandra, وين قطش؟
أنا آخر شي سمعت جانا إنه eventually the flame burned them.
Yeah, no, ما عندك ما قطش مايا. It's
آه
and
ساندرا.
yeah. Okay. So my bad. I'm just gonna continue and yeah.
You recording this?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Okay.
Okay. So these two youngsters, they go into the holy temple, they start stealing the eternal flame, start reading these sacred texts and performing these rituals while they're drunk, one thing after the other, one thing after the other. Okay. And eventually they are found in a situation where they die, physically die, but they become the highest, most elevated souls in healing. How confusing is this? Because it's very confusing for me. I don't know how these two souls that were getting drunk, playing around with the eternal flame and reading sacred texts became the channels for healing. Would you be able to guess how they became the channels for healing? Okay. So part of studying wisdom is that wisdom is paradoxical. Okay. The first rule of spirituality that you have to understand is that wisdom is paradoxical. What is paradoxical? Paradoxical means that, uh, in the lower worlds, something is judgment. In the upper worlds, it's mercy. If it's judgment in the upper world, it's mercy in the physical reality. So you have to get your mind used to paradoxes. If you continue to think in a linear way within spirituality, you cannot become very wise. Now, this is one of the other spiritual principles that you have to understand that is paradoxical, is that any satisfaction, okay, and this is something you did not study in the course in wisdom, so this is new, all right, any satisfaction that you experience in the physical world is never complete, but its idea is always euphoric. Okay, let's use an example. You imagine how married life is going to be. It's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. You get married. It's not so okay. You imagine how this party is going to be and the dress and everything. You go to the party. It's okay, right? You imagine, oh my God, I'm going to get this job and this job is just going to give me all the freedom I want. You go to the job, it's not as perfect as it can be, right? You do a procedure, let's say, oh, it's going to make you thin, or it's going to clear your skin, or it's going to make you look beautiful, but you go there and it's not as perfect as it can be. Does that make sense? In the spiritual realm, it is the opposite. When you don't experience the spirituality, you don't feel anything. That's a spiritual rule, that you don't feel anything when you're not feeling spirituality. Like if you're not connected to the God, to the creator, we're all connected to the creator, but let's say that we're in a stage of where we're experiencing some darkness. When we're not connected to the creator, we don't experience anything. We don't experience sadness. We don't experience lack of goodness. But when you're connected to the creator, you experience a very big euphoria. Now, the reason that is, and I will link it to Taurus for you to understand. The reason that is because in life, when you do something bad energetically, where it's a desire to receive for the self alone, it's a reactive behavior, you continue to do reactive behavior ongoing. All right. And you are prompted, it's the momentum. And when you do something good, you also are prompted to continue to do something good until a resistance comes with something negative, and it propels you into doing more and more negative. Every action that you do either follows goodness or follows your downfall. Okay? It's a momentum. Based on this, you have to understand that our redemption is always guaranteed, because if you continue to do negative, 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 what are you going to do? You're going to experience what? A complete catastrophe, right? Okay.
Full negativity.
And full negativity. And what does full negativity do to the vessel?
It shrinks it.
It shatters it. It makes it seek the light of the creator. It cannot survive anymore, so it has to seek the light of the creator.
Yes.
All right.
هذا البارادوكس.
That's the paradox, right? That eventually, whether through negative or whether through positive, you will always seek the light of the creator. But the reason that small negative actions eventually lead to your downfall is because one action leads on to another. It's a momentum buildup. And this is what you have to understand, that if you don't, and this is very powerful for you and for other people, if you see that someone is misled in their, and you know, in their thought of action, or in their thoughts, or in their everything, all you have to do is step on the outside, because the moment you stop interfering, what's going to happen?
They're gonna do what they need to do.
Okay, that's a very universal answer. Can I get a more precise, impactful, wise answer?
Basically, we will stop enabling them, so they're gonna feel the resistance لحالهم ويلاقوا الحل.
Based on the principle, are they going to find the solution?
No. Depends where they go. If they stay in the negativity, no. Or maybe
Sandra,
yes.
you're a very good coach. بتجاوبي وما بتقولي شيء.
خلاص
بتجاوبي
صرنا
وما بتقولي
ديفورمي.
شيء. You're an
I'm
excellent
thinking
coach.
out loud، مش عم جاوب أنا. مش فاهمين الشيء يعني.
ساندرا، إذا أنا هلأ بلشت كذب based on the spiritual principle، شو رح يصير بالآخر؟
إذا بلشت تكذبي
إيه؟
رح تصدقي كذبتك.
Based on what principle is this?
I don't know. Okay. إذا أنا عم كذب
لك عم ياخدوها على أو أمر أبسط من هيك بكتير. خلينا نرجع للأمر يلي أبسط من هيك بكتير. إذا أنت هلأ بلشتي بالقالب الجاتو، شو حيصير؟
مفروض خلصوا، بس إذا ما كفيت.
بس إذا إجا حدا، اوكي اتس ا فيري سمبل برنسبل، بس اذا اجى حدا وصار يقول لك ما بقى تاكلي جاتو، كثير عم تاكلي جاتو، شو حيصير؟
رح وقف.
رح توقفي. بس is that going to enable you انه ما بقى تقربي على الجاتو، ولا رح توقفي وتخبيه بالمطبخ وترجعي له بعد شوي؟
اكيد برجع له.
اكيد بترجعي له. اوكي very good, thank you. So the spiritual principle is very simple. Once you start a momentum of something negative, right, the best solution is to allow it to unfold till the end without either distracting yourself or others distracting you, because it's going to bring you to the lowest of the low and that point in the fastest trajectory, which means that you're going to seek your redemption in the fastest way. Does that make sense?
So basically hitting rock bottom so you can pull yourself up.
Exactly. And rock bottom is different for each person.
طبعا.
Okay. All right. What about spirit? Yes.
Sorry, Jana, to interrupt, but please, can you let Ziad in?
I did let him in.
Oh, لأنه قال لي
yeah.
to ask you. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Okay. What about if you are doing this within a spiritual context? Does good deeds take you on the fastest trajectory to the light of the Creator?
Depends on the intention.
The only way that you can get on the fastest track to the light of the Creator is when you feel nothing. Because remember what we said, that even when you're not connected to the light of the Creator, you don't feel negative. So that's the trajectory that gets you to the light of the Creator. Making it very simple. Whenever you don't feel euphoric and excited about spirituality, this is the time to actually pursue spirituality. And whenever you feel that you have started a negative pattern, take yourself to the extreme so that you can withdraw and never go there again.
Mm-hmm.
Take yourself from the lowest of the low to go up. All right? And this is what the month of Taurus represents, because Taurus in its essence is something that does not like to move. It cannot make choices to move. So it's always stuck in mediocrity. It's always stuck in the middle. Yeah, it's okay. It's not too bad. All right. So allowing the trajectory to take its place, to allow yourself to either go to the extreme down or to propel yourself and work through spirituality is the essence that you need this month in Taurus. And how did Navi and Nayahu, how did they become the representations of the energy of healing? It is because they were on the fastest trajectory to a downfall, which basically they were so engrossed in the desire to heal, but it was so selfish. It came from pure, we want to do it, and we are such great souls, and we are the sons of Aaron, and we are the high priests, and we are the bloodline, and we are this, that they basically, what they did was that they decomposed the entire of their body and set in motion an entire spiritual energy of healing. But it didn't come through voluntary work. It came through pain and suffering. So when we connect to the energy of healing, we always have to think that there is a moment of discomfort that takes place. No healing can be done with comfort. All right. So every healing modality that says, sit down, relax, be zen, that is you working on the mind. And that's beautiful. But it is not healing the body, the mind, and the soul in one unity, because the body has to experience a certain amount of discomfort, and sometimes that discomfort can be psychological, like, oh yes, I was abused, or oh yes, my parents were bad. That idea is discomfort itself, because if it needs healing, it still went through discomfort. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
حبيت خلينا نقول شغلة. Where does illness come from? Where does illness come from?
Disconnection from the light of the Creator.
Okay. What does the body perceive that illness is the disconnection? What does this feel like physically to the body? What does the body think?
It's dying.
No. What does the body think? In that moment where it feels
In danger? It's in danger?
Yes, but more specifically?
In pain?
It feels pain. Pain of what?
Pain of the disconnection.
وحياة الله إنك كوتش عظيمة. The body, the body feels that it is missing something that it wants. The moment the body feels that it is missing something that it wants, whether it's chocolate, whether it's comfort, whether it's sex, whether it's money, whether it's whatever, it gears on the inside to compensate. That moment, before it begins to compensate, the decision it does in order to compensate, that is where is the start of an illness. That's the disalignment from the light of the creator. That is the body malfunctioning, going, shit, there's no light of the creator, but there is light of the creator, but the body doesn't experience this, and it begins to take control of itself to, in order, تبهو, it's not doing something bad. It's actually helping itself. It's saying, oh, ما في light of the creator, مثلا نفترض ما في sex. Okay, so أنا هلا رح روح أعمل حالي مثلا نفترض not sexually desirable. Okay, and by thus I am protecting myself. What am I protecting myself from? What? عن جد نحن بشهر تورس.
أنا هون ما كتير فهمت
All
إنه
right.
when a body doesn't have sex, it becomes in a state of desiring sex. It doesn't become in a state of like, oh, I want to look pretty. It becomes more of a state like, oh, something is missing, I need it. It doesn't go to this.
No. The body, the way that the body decides, Ziad, what it's going to do is not entirely in your control. So whether the body decides to compensate and do more, or whether it decides to shrink and do less, is not a decision that you take consciously. It's a decision that's taken unconsciously. So, for example, let's say, let me give you an example. When you starve the body from food, there are two ways that the body deals with this. Either it decides to store food so that it can have reserve, or it can decide to eat more and more and more and more and speed up the metabolism in order for it to continue eating. The decision which of the two you're going to make is not entirely a conscious decision. Let's say a mother sees her child die. All right? Let's say this, la samah Allah. All right? At that moment, she can decide two decisions. Either I'm going to have a lot more kids and she becomes very fertile, or she can decide, I never want to experience this. This is, the fertility is not good. It's too painful. You cannot handle it. Which of these decisions the body takes is not a conscious decision, but it is always one of the two decisions, either one of growth and compensation, or one of shrinking and making something smaller. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. This is what we call in نحن بالhypnotherapy بنسميها secondary gain.
Yeah. Okay. And this is what the symbol of Taurus represents. It is these two distinct moments that again are going to divide. It's a decision that the body makes, whether you make it consciously or unconsciously. All right. Now, what I want you to do as a workshop, take 2 to 3 minutes. All right. And what I want you to do is I want you to think of your momentum. And again, when you start doing something that's, negative for you, what are the following steps that you take, right? So let's use an example. بلشت بقالب بالجاتو، أو أنا بسميها الصبح عادة. أنا إذا أول شغلة إلي حلو، خلاص راح نهاري. إذا ببلش نهاري بحلو، أي شيء حلو، even if it's fruits, even if it's berries، إذا ببلش نهاري بحلو، بيمشي نهاري على فتحت على الآخر بالأكل. All right? So again, I'm asking you, what are the distinct behaviors, okay, that you do that go into a roll downwards, that spiral you downwards? Can you think of them so that we can see how you can avoid them this month? I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that. All right, guys. Anyone want to give an example?
I can.
Okay, go.
If on the weekends mainly, or when I'm working from home, so like I'm home during the day, if I don't have food already ready and cooked from the day before, and I don't cook anything by lunchtime, I spiral down into coffee and cigarettes until I starve and decide to cook at 10 p.m. So I end up having one meal, being in a bad mood all day, not knowing what I want simply because I want food and there's no food.
Okay. Can we use something from someone else? Thank you for sharing that, Ziad.
أنا مثلا when I wake up I have something to do. If I do it my whole day is productive. If I start إذا بدك hitting the snooze button, مش إنه ال actual snooze button بس إنه بلش أجل بعد شوي وبعد 5 دقايق وهيك ما بعمل شي.
Maya? Okay, so let's continue. I think you understand the concept. It's a very simple concept, but it is important to always reflect that anytime you start something negative, the continuation of that continues until you hit rock bottom. All right. And it's also a very good way to be around friends and families, especially if you are in no position to give people advice, is to allow them to unfold completely without interfering. Because the minute they do that, you give them the opportunity to redeem themselves in the fastest way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. The forecast. Let's go into the forecast day by date. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. So the first day that you need to note is Thursday sundown to Friday sundown. All right. So Thursday sundown to Friday sundown, which is the 15th of May. And this is a very important date because this is the death anniversary of Shimon Bar Yochai. He is the author of the Zohar. And in this night, we get to connect to a lot of wisdom. Shimon Bar Yochai used to love poetry. And this is why we're throwing a poetry night in the House of Wisdom with the dinner for those of you who want to attend. For those of you, and friends and family are always invited. If you are not interested in attending, that's okay. But just make sure that on that night, you you connect to the soul of Shimon Bar Yochai through the meditation that we always recommend. And the meditation that we recommend is the meditation that we always recommend is I turn my attention towards the Ruch of Shimon Bar Yochai. May the bounties and blessings of his soul also come into my heart. After you light a candle and read as much as you can from the Zohar. Yeah?
Yes.
All right. So this is the important date that you need to note down. I'm also going to now tell you the other important dates. So the first day that is very important is May 7th. All right. May 7th, Mercury enters Aries. And with this, you will see that there's a lot of very negative, very aggressive communication that's going to begin to take place. All right. It's impulsive communication, it's impulsive decisions. And through this, you're just going to feel like as if everything is just too quick, right? The energy is too quick. You're making decisions very fast, but some of these decisions are very reactive. So anything that situates you around the energy of making decisions around the 7th of May, steer away from it. Steer away from it. All right. So that's a very important protection. Also, throughout that time, you can use the 72, and you will see which letters to connect to. But it's very important that you try to connect to the energy of lack of impulsiveness, especially when it comes to communication. All right. On the 14th of May, Jupiter enters Gemini. And this will take place until the 18th of October. All right. So it will stay there until the 18th of October. And this is a very good thing because after you have had such a deep, impulsive, and a lot of attack thoughts, this is a good time because this will organize your thoughts, will make them clear, will make them flourish. And what will happen is that you're going to find the energy and the luck to manifest those ideas that came to you around the first week of May. Okay? All right. So the next thing is around the 14th of May as well, the sun will enter Taurus. And sun entering Taurus is wow. It's like, wow. If you're a Capricorn, if you're a Leo, if you're a Cancer, if you're a Libra, right? If you are a Taurus, these signs are going to yield money on multiple things, especially Cancer and Libra. If they can donate food at that time, they're really opening channels of sustenance for themselves in huge huge amounts, right? Not only this, they will also be combating. So Cancer has the ability to combat depression through this. So if any sign is experiencing depression and they decide to donate anything in the color red, like red lentils, if they decide to donate red beans, any kind of food that has red, the fire energy, It can truly uplift them from depressions and from many psychological illnesses. All right. But for all other signs, this is a really good time financially for everyone, right? So whatever it is, you can really benefit from the energy financially. On May 24th, Saturn enters Aries. وبيبلش payback, Mr. O'Donnell. All right. So the Saturn is going to stay there until the 1st of September. And it's going to encourage discipline. It's going to encourage that, it's going to encourage somehow between the impulsiveness and between the luck and between the analytical side, Saturn is just going to bring all of the finances and communication in one heke coherent ball. So this month, it's truly an alignment, especially on the financial side, that you're truly going to feel like you have great ideas, impulsive ideas that can really change your life financially. And then what you're going to feel is that you now have the tools and the mechanism to manifest it, to be able to analyze it. And towards the end of the month, you're going to finally have a plan that's more realistic. All right. The whole month is focused on healing financial systems. All right. The whole month is focused on healing financial systems. All right. Any questions about this? Because these are the important dates. I didn't want to burden you with much more dates. So, yeah. Any questions about the dates? Or does anybody have a date that is important, like a job interview, a sales, something that they want to ask about?
Jana, you mentioned the 7th of May
Yeah.
في disconnect بالcommunication. لإمتى هيدا بيضل? Oh, just on the 7th of May.
No, it stays until the 12th of May. It stays approximately 5 to 6 days.
Okay. So we have to be careful بهيدا الوقت.
You have to just be careful with the decisions that are, with the ideas that are impulsively coming towards you.
Okay.
Okay?
So if we have a planned conversation to happen on the 6th, is it included in that? Should we avoid it, postpone it until the 13th? Well, as long as it's like one day before Rawa.
One day before is not Rawa. I would bring it forward one day, especially if this is about a job or any feedback that is required, because you don't want things to spiral aggressively out of control, unless the person is very good at restriction.
Okay.
So it's about using the tools for restriction before you enter that meeting. It's not recommended, but if it's already been set, then it's okay.
So preferably do it on the 5th, for example.
Either the 5th or the 15th.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
This is the tetragrammaton that you can use for healing your financials this month. All right. It's a tetragrammaton that we use for all healing. But this month specifically, you can use this tetragrammaton. And the way to use this tetragrammaton is you can save it on your phone screensaver, or you can save it on, anything, and on anything that you constantly look at. Perhaps you can print it and put it on the mirror. This is the more that you can visualize this running through your body, the more that you can simply look and scan at it. This is where the healing energy comes from. All right. Okay. Foods for the month. Foods that are actually beneficial for you this month. All right. So these are basically, and it's always the way that we look at fruits and vegetables. The consciousness is always, what are these fruits and vegetables or this energy in the environment naturally wanting to share? All right. This is where you have to, this is how you, if you want to delve more deeply into what's good for you, always look at what is the environment naturally sharing? And how is this practical? It means that what is it actually producing that month, right? What is it actually producing? So always, if you want to do this, you always search what are the fruits and vegetables that are in season. Because what does it mean in season? In season means that the environment naturally has this desire to share. And you are receiving from it, which is, again, it's a non-forced mechanism. Also, to highlight that certain countries will have more of or less of. Alhamdulillah, something that we have to appreciate about Lebanon is that Lebanon's environment is very rich in greens, and actually everything you see on this list, with the acceptance of shellfish, even shellfish you can find in Lebanon. It's just that, كتير بنتصيدوا. All right, you can actually find in Lebanon in season. All right.
I have a silly question here, but
Yes.
you did mention it partly. So, do I eat what's in season, or do I eat what's in season in my country? And
Okay.
like, if I buy quote unquote French products, French veggies, our season starts later. So like هلا بعد في شوي wintry stuff or like early spring stuff. بعده إنه ما صار مثل لبنان as hot. So do I go through what I have available in front of me, or what's available as in general?
Generally, in all urban cities, you have the availability of everything, but it doesn't mean that it's in season. I would always put what my country produces or is in season to produce more than what's being produced internationally. فهمت علي؟ لأنه ما نرجع بنقول it's dependent on what the environment you are in wants to share.
That's what I meant. Like, I would buy like French
food.
veggies and French fruits. Yeah, like sourced in France. That's what I meant.
Yes.
So I go with what's available in where I am. Mission what's available in Lebanon.
Optimally, yes. Optimally, yes.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm just gonna use like a really stupid example, right? Like we don't see citrus fruits. Like you notice, there's not even one is a citrus fruit, right? So again, even if let's say you do find citrus fruits, it's not recommended. But let's say you don't have bananas in France, but there's bananas, وانت بدك fruit, then go for the banana. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The 72 letters this month that can propel you forward and that you can use as often as you can are the energy for healing, which is Mim He Shin, which is the second one, which is number 5 on any 72 names list. All right. And the way to use this is to either write it on a piece of paper and put your water on it, or you can, pronounce it and blow it into the water and drink it. The best thing is to energize your water with it. All right. There's also a meditation that you can energize your water with it for it to heal you. It's from the Prophet Abraham. I'm happy to share it. I don't have it in this presentation. I'm happy to share it. But the other one is Mim Bet He, which is thought into action. And it's a commitment to achieving your goals. And if you see, it says, I now reconnect and reunite the upper and the lower worlds. And I just want to emphasize this, because if you go back to this, it's about reconnection, realignment. Do you see it through the way the stars are shaped? So the lower worlds and the power of this name, by bringing these two realms together, I find courage and commitment to accomplish my goals and achieve my dreams. My thoughts become actualized and my best ideas are transformed into action and then into concrete results. And this is what this month is all about, right? This literally summarizes the consciousness of this month. Take your thoughts in the beginning of the week of May, take those thoughts, make a plan, and move forward. Don't worry about the negative implication of impulsive thoughts. Impulsive thoughts are good. It means you have ideas. Pick which ones of them are practical and move forward. Questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we actually do brainstorming sessions بأول أسبوع, or do we just wait and see what comes up?
They're going to come up. You can organize them if you want to, but they're going to come up. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you're a Taurus, your crystal, the precious stone crystal, is the emerald, which is on the left. All right? If you're looking at your screen, those are precious stones. It's an emerald. All right? An emerald is the energy of opening up your heart, of healing. It's also regarded as a royalty stone. It was in the past, it was the second most precious stone after ruby, because diamonds were not even precious back then. Ruby and sapphires were. So emerald was regarded as the second most precious stones. It's used in the high priests. It's used for healing. It's used in any modality that has healing crystals. But now emeralds are very expensive to get, all right? And if you want the more accessible version, especially if you're not a Taurus, right? You can put this crystal in your house. That is amalchit. It's called amalchit. Even in English, it's called amalchit, all right? And that's what it looks like. The polished version is above. The polished version is on the top, and the lower version is how it looks raw. You can use either or in your house. The one that is raw requires less cleansing. The one that is polished always requires more cleansing when it's inside your house. All right?
Question?
Yes.
What do you mean by cleansing?
So whenever you put stones in your house with the purpose to to remove negative energy somehow, or to fill the space with positive energy, you have to clear the stones. And the way to clear the stones is at the beginning of the month, you cleanse them with water, running river, in the ocean. So it's basically like they are doing mikvah, right? They do mikvah, running water, river water, or ocean water. All right? So that's one way. And you energize them by putting them outside in the full moon, right? So they can absorb the maximum energy throughout that month. All the other time, you can place them in your house.
Thanks.
All right? Now, there's one secret here which I wanted to share, that precious stones, right? Precious stones do not need as much cleansing as the less valuable version. And the best similarity I can give to that is basically it's like you having a Dyson and a cheap Hoover, right? One requires more maintenance than the other. But the truth is that precious stones, not the fact that they don't impact, they impact more energy than they themselves get absorbed. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Can you repeat that?
Precious stones, بس أنا هون ما عم بحكي عن diamonds، عم بحكي عن the real precious stones يلي هن مثلا emerald, ruby, sapphire, peridots, garnet, certain types of quartz, right? Even though quartz is regarded as semi-precious, beat certain types, right? The real family of precious stones, because their energy is much stronger, they don't get so influenced by the external, they influence. And that is why you're required to clean them less.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It doesn't mean you don't clean them. It just means that you can clean them less. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so the colors of, and this is really the colors of the month is becoming a really professional slide. All right, so this is the colors, the one that's in the small Pantone, which is cannoli cream, cream tan, safari, sirako, mocha mousse. You saw that image. Those are the base color that's in fashion. You can contrast it with any of the Pantone colors next to it, which is the tendril, the cornflower blue, the voila, the tan, the willow, right? The gardenia. And if you notice, right, and there's no coincidence that, and by the way, I got this from Pantone. It's not like I come up with these. I'm not a fashion trender. But the idea here is, if you notice, even within the colors, all right, there's no coincidence. The colors are named mostly after the ones that you contrast with are named after flowers, because it's the flowering season, right? So this is why when you're contrasting your base colors, هتقولوا لي okay نحن لشو منعوزهم, okay? If you dress in these colors, people will perceive you better. All right, if you're able to dress in any of these colors, people will perceive you better. If you are able to add these colors as in your garden, or in the disposable furniture you have, or if you're planning a party, these colors are the colors that will show elegance. Before I did this slide, I was looking at, I'm helping a friend organize her wedding, and naturally the screenshots of pictures that I got, actually, and even though I wasn't even Googling colors in the season, I was just Googling, but the natural attraction towards I was gravitating was towards al-fukhar wal-flowers, fukhar wal-flowers, right? So again, going back to, if you notice, this is the elements of fukhar and flowers, all right? If you look at the top, you also have big contrasting colors. These are colors that can contrast, if you want to add a distracting element، يعني بدكم تحطوا شيء يجذب كتير الاتنشن، فيكم تستعملوا هيدول الالوان. All right. All right. Okay. Finally, let's do the meditation. And for this month, you can do either the Aramaic meditation, which is Pei Vav. And I want to focus this year on the letter Vav. Last year, we focused on the letter Pei. And of course, if you're doing the Islamic one, you can do Al-Jabbar, which is the energy of healing. The Jabbar, the way to do it is to recite Al-Jabbar 1,000 times and to visualize that blowing, or visualize just the letters and how they're shaped on that situation, in that area in your body. Either put it where it belongs in your body, or if it's a situation, then just send the energy there, or just visualize it by blowing in that direction, or on that situation, or on that or on that person. All right. The Pei and the Vav have a different kind of meditative practice that you can do. And I want you to focus on the letter Vav. Of course, after you focus on the letter Pei, you take the Vav, and you see the Vav kind of has a connection, and then it kind of drops, and then it moves, and then it drops with an arrow downwards, right? Can you see that? Yes?
Yep.
All right. And from there, you can see that it's this energy that is drawing from the creator, right? And you can do this every day throughout the month. If you need healing anywhere in your life, right? If you need healing anywhere in your life, all right, you can take this letter, visualize that the top part of it is connected to the light of the creator, right? And I want you to close your eyes and just try and do this now. All right, and just imagine that the letter Vav is connected to the light, to a big ball of light, a golden ball of light. Taking that ball of light, connecting you to the letter Vav. Just imagine that it's running through the middle of your head. Taking a deep breath in. Breathe regularly. Breathing through your nose comfortably. The healthiest and most aligned form of breathing is non-controlled nose breathing. We're often told to breathe in and breathe out, but that's not how flow breathing is. Just breathe regularly through your nose. Do not allow the assistance of your mouth to take in air. If your shoulders are moving up while you're breathing, relax them. Continue to visualize a golden light running through the letter Vav. Connected to a big ball of golden light that's pouring infinitely into your body, into your abdomen, continue to visualize while you're comfortably breathing. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And your meditation for the month is the Pei Vav, the Tetragrammaton, or Al-Jabbar, not all of them together. Whatever resonates with you. And that's it for tonight. If you have any questions, I'm here.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
Is it Jabbar alone, or the Tetragrammaton and the letters of the month and the 72 names as a group, or is it like the Tetragrammaton and then I'm
Okay.
not.
Al-Jabbar on any situation that you want to heal on its own.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The pay and the vav with the tetragrammaton, without anything, those are on their own. The 72 names, those are with anything, with both al-Jabbar and the tetragrammaton, whatever you choose.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah, so but not at the same time, but like depending on the situation. For the month, we have the tetragrammaton and the letters of the month.
Yes. Or al-Jabbar.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Is anybody interested in knowing about Taurus? I'm assuming you guys are advanced enough that I don't tell you about Taurus.
We are what?
Advanced enough to know the basics of Taurus.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Are you, or do you want me to go through it?
I don't
Sandra?
mind that kind reminder.
Okay. So the month of Taurus is ruled by the Taurus. The energy of Taurus is earth, internal fire.
I
Yes.
think you meant Venus, because you said the month of Taurus is ruled by Taurus.
Is ruled by the planet Venus. Sorry, yes. All right, is ruled by the planet Venus. The elements governing that are external earth, internal fire, which is like a volcanic eruption. Very steadfast, very quiet, but when it erupts, it erupts. Tauruses struggle with internal anger, passive aggressive internal anger. All right. They're always people who seek beauty. They're good artists. They have very good vocal cords. People are naturally drawn to them because of their charisma and because of not their charisma, but mostly for their beauty, because they're ruled by the planet Venus. Now, Venus, which rules the second house, rules money, rules love, and is, as with everything that is money and love, it is foggy. It's unclear. Love is not clear. I don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is. Money is unclear. I don't know where it's coming, and I really certainly don't know where it's going, right? So this is the energy of money most of the time, and this is the energy of love. We don't understand it. We're kind of putting definitions on it. And whenever we're doing any kind of work that focuses with money or love, it is very important to clearly define what it is for us, because different people have different definitions and different understanding. All right. So this is the energy kind of Taurus. Generally seen, Taurus is a positive month, but it falls in this calendar of the 40 days in which we are building our vessel. And this is why we're very prompted to really connect the physical and the spiritual together during these 40 days, because this is where the vessel is being built and rebuilt in every single one of the Sefirot houses. Now, for some students, some people do count this Omer. It's called the counting of the Omer. For some students, this is really a very important practice that they do. Personally, I have never taught anyone in the House of Wisdom the counting of the Omer. I feel that it is too specific and too advanced, not for the level that we have, but just for the sheer number of people that we have, right? We're not a strong enough community to be counting the Omer. All right, physically. So from this, we've never counted the Omer, but it is a time when we are building our vessel in order to be able to achieve more throughout this year. All right. Other tips and wisdom that can come from the energy of Taurus, and one that is so lacking in this world, is steadfastness. If any time you need more steadfastness in your life, meaning consistency, doing something over and over and over again, which is the likelihood of success, you can connect to the energy of Taurus, which the seed of it is tonight. All right. Sandra, questions?
I wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you soon. And yes.